Broads Media.
What is going on, everyone? Okay, not the prettiest game in the world, but Joel Embiid was ridiculous. Before we break it all down, if you're new to the channel, smash that subscribe button, hit the thumbs up button as well. I greatly appreciate it. If you're looking to buy tickets to go to any NBA, NHL, NFL game, go to SeatGeek, plug in promo code BROADS, you get $20 off. 20 bucks. So pretty much screw the fees. I'm handing you a $20 bill to take care of the fees. Make sure you get yourself to a game today. Promo code BROADS, SeatGeek's checkout. And lastly, TikTok at Broads Media. We're implementing some fun content over there. Make sure you check that out. And with that being said, enjoy the show. What is going on, everyone? Welcome on into Sports Talk with Broads. It wasn't a great effort by the Sixers as a whole. Joel Embiid was ridiculous. That high-low pass to Tobias Harris late made me go nuts. I swear to God, I'm thinking, what the hell is this beautiful nonsense that I'm witnessing? My guy was consistently scoring points, right? He was knocking down shots at will. He established himself early down low. He went to the free throw line. Then his game started to grow from down within out towards the perimeter where he's knocking down mid-range jumpers. He's going from the defensive end, dribbling all the way up to the floor and knocking down shots. It's beautiful, but for some reason, out of all that high-low pass to Toby was, it was a chef kiss. And the reason I probably feel that way is because I watch Joel sometimes set up and nobody can make an inbound pass to him. And when they try to, Danny Green ends up getting picked off by Hayward on the attempt. And you can see the frustration in Joel Embiid. You could see the frustration with Doc Rivers all game long, honestly. There were possessions where he was watching Tobias Harris slow the game down and basically face up his defender while Doc Rivers was pointing to the three-point line and pointing to basically, hey, kick it out and let's go. And then as soon as Tobias Harris didn't execute, his body language, Doc on the sideline, was just defeated inside, and that's not a good sign. They were also all over the map, the entire coaching staff in that overtime period when they were questioning if they should have challenged the player or not. You have nothing to lose. I have no idea how, and this is stressful because this isn't just a random circumstance and one little tiny problem with Doc Rivers. We've been touching on this for a while now. He doesn't know how to use them, and that might come back to bite him later on in a significant time. Look, I mean, what are we talking about here? What are you saving the challenge for? If you lose, you lose. If you win the basketball game, and there's no last second shot. So I really don't understand. You see the sideline. There was a great camera view, and they're all going, what? The camera view's looking at the mother going, what? I don't know. No, don't do it. What are we talking about? It's bad, but Joel Embiid wasn't. Joel Embiid wasn't. That was a fun night just watching him, but I understand the frustration as a team. No Tyrese Maxey. I'm watching Furkan Korkmaz run the point guard with the second unit at times, and that makes me sick. Isaiah Joe should be playing over top of him. They scored 44 points in the second quarter. Isaiah Joe did make some buckets. Danny Green did make some buckets. Shake Milton made some buckets, which was nice, but Danny Green with piss-poor passing right at the end of the half. Look, I thought this might be a cruise and one of those snooze fest. I know it started out ugly. They were down double digits, but then they fought back, and once that second quarter was exploding the way that it was, I really thought that was it. Game over. Let's go to bed. Let's shut off the lights. I would never actually do that, but that was my mentality with it. And then they start posting up Tobias Harris instead of continuing to roll through Joel Embiid. Now, there was a time, ironically enough, when they were trying to run through him with him posting up. I'm going, what in the world is this? He did have a little trifecta, if you will, of a couple back-to-back threes, and then he got fouled taking a three, which was definitely important to the outcome of this game. But there were a lot of downs for Tobias Harris as well. It basically went on the shoulders of Joel, for sure, during those late stretches, and he called himself a closer after the game. I was kind of chuckling because obviously he is our best talent right now. We want him to be the guy, but at the end of the day, for being 1,000% serious with ourselves, there's a huge missing piece to the closing factor. He needs help closing games. He's part of the closer, no doubt about it. If you had another secret weapon on top of him, you'd be picking your poison each game. Some nights it'll be Joel. Some nights it'll be whoever the alternative is. But when it's full on nobody but Joel, you have your ups and downs. Not that I'm here to crush Joel. Look, you know I love him. If anything, I'm going after the morons and the dopes and the idiots that claim after the COVID situation, Joel comes back, he has one big game. Then he goes in the shitter a little bit for a couple games. They went to Boston. It wasn't very solid, right? That stretch, it was a really bad brand of basketball for Joel, but I knew that wasn't who he was. I mean, come on now. We knew deep down in our heart of hearts that Joel Embiid was definitely a better basketball player than those poor shooting performances, whether he tried to have to establish himself lower or whether it's just shots falling again or a combination of both, right? I think it starts with getting lower, and before the pass even comes to him, he's just pretty much owning his rights down low. Once he does that, boom. And by the way, how about that nice drive he had baseline for the major slam? This guy was nuts. His finishing stat line was 43, 15, and 7 assists. He was 15 of 20 from the field, so he only missed 5 shots, and he was 12 of 14 from the charity stripe. So Joel Embiid was just absolutely playing with his hair on fire, and I loved how clutch he was late. And there's a reason why. There's a correlation between how we felt when the Sixers were dealing with that and us being satisfied on some nights, basically claiming, look, we're okay with the effort. We're okay with the battle. Why do you do that? Because when you're undermanned and you're understaffed, you just go out there and you play nuts and you play like it's your last game. Some of these guys are getting golden opportunities. It's an adrenaline rush to your team with some of your players that don't normally get that time. There's a reason why when we watch the Sixers go through it, it was all right. We can live with that because they would battle with teams that they didn't have a lot of talent to kind of battle with. They shouldn't have battled that long. So when I see the Hornets do that, yeah, obviously I'm upset with a lot of the things that I saw. And, you know, it's not a beautiful, beautiful style of basketball right now. Joel Embiid got the ball again, another late time situation where Doc Rivers, I don't think, put his team in the best position to succeed. Now, Joel Embiid almost ended up banking it in at the end of regulation to come out with the win. But in all seriousness, you got to get him going downhill because nobody was stopping him. You got to get him in an area. Maybe they were just concerned on, look, we've had trouble getting him the ball, and there'd be possibly a double team that's coming his way. Not possibly, definitely coming his way, and we'll live with getting the ball out to him from the outside and see if he can work himself inside instead of the alternative, which is put the ball in someone else's hands and try and dunk it down low, because the last time that happened, Tobias Harris wasn't able to even do that, and it was a kickouts in the yang. And then earlier in this game, in a crucial moment, Danny Green gets picked off by Gordon Hayward, and there was no communication there, and there was no, obvious look or an obvious, the obvious thing to do was just not pass to him, but there was no communication at all, and you could see Joel Embiid was pissed off. So, just trying to cover all angles here and look at it, everything with knowing what else went down. But, you could think about a screen, setting the screen, kind of getting him down low and things of that nature, kind of working off that. So, definitely a couple of different ways you could have played it, but getting him downhill and in the paint area was probably the move instead of settling. Where I stand right now, I get it, with the whole Ben Simmons thing looming your franchise. And there was a report today by Shams. And by the way, anything Shams is saying, it's all Rich Paul, it's all Clutch Sports. I'm not buying it. It seemed very fugazi. It seemed very fake. It seemed like a huge reach. Even Damian Lillard ended up making a statement on Twitter about it, retweeted some things talking about how this is all for drama and whatnot. Does he want to play with Ben Simmons? Maybe, yeah. I think that there's a lot of players in this league that would like to play with Ben Simmons, especially when your team defense is horrendous and pathetic and you are one of the worst teams in the league. They need someone to help them stop anyone. They can't stop a damn nosebleed right now. They need Ben Simmons out there. So, yeah, I'm sure Damian Lillard would not mind acquiring him somehow, some way. But the way Shams is talking about him and his relationship with the franchise, I ain't buying it. I think this is Rich Paul, Clutch Sports, trying to stir the pot and make the headlines again because it's been a little quiet on Ben Simmons. People haven't been discussing him as much. We got to keep Ben Simmons relevant. And it's funny I bring that up because I'm not going to lie. Earlier today, even before that news kind of dropped in the morning, I saw a picture of Ben Simmons. And I went, wow, is anyone in the basketball world even talking about him? And then within moments, within an hour, I should say, bang, here comes a big news drop. I think it was kind of predetermined, pre-planned. Rich Paul, Clutch Sports. I'm sorry. I'm just fully not digesting this because, or diving deep into it. I won't allow it to sit into my stomach and have it digest and think that there's something to it. I won't. I definitely won't. Seth Curry, 0 for 6 from 3, had 4 turnovers. Matisse Thybulle got into some foul trouble with barely logging in any minutes, and he's gambling big time. He doesn't provide much offensively. He had that one nice dunk, but other than that, I remember looking at the box score, seeing 14 minutes played and 0 shots. 0 shots, 14 minutes played. While there's guys on the bench playing way less minutes than him, and they're jacking up 3. It's problematic. I'm going to keep stressing it. It's problematic. You definitely missed Tyrese Maxey in this game, and I'm not just saying from a body perspective because it's clear, you didn't have a secondary ball handler, and that did not help your team when you're losing players like that, but just the element of the way Shake Milton runs an offense and the way Maxey does, it's 2 totally different styles, where Maxey has that burst of speed, and he's willing to drive past his defender, and he's got that quick step, and, there's just this new speed and quickness of up and down pace that he likes to play with. When with Shake Milton, there were times where it's kind of trying to create from outside the perimeter and trying to operate there instead of that drive and that attack mindset that Tyrese Maxey plays with. Shake did have some big-time buckets, and he did make some threes, and he was actually very efficient. 4 of 6 from behind the arc and finished with 16 points, so he was definitely a crucial part to this victory today, but you could just tell. You could tell maybe what this team was lacking a bit with putting the defense on their toes, and speaking of defense, there are just times where I vomit. I literally see it pouring out of my mouth while I'm watching the television screen. It just goes out on the floor, just flies out of my mouth because I'm watching the Sixers team play defense, right? Or I should look at it as they're attempting to play, or maybe I shouldn't even say that. Are they even attempting? Because if they're attempting, that's a damn shame with the outcome that you're getting. And understandably so with certain personnel on the floor and what you're losing in Ben. But at times, it's like it could be better based off of what you have than we're getting. I'm not asking for top 3. I'm not asking for special. I'm asking for a handful of guys that don't play a lot normally, and there's a lot of guys that aren't available due to the COVID protocols on this team. LaMelo Ball, Terry Rozier. I'm asking you to play against the Hornets backups a little bit better with a little bit more intensity on that defensive end. Andre Drummond had a massive defensive play, though. He gets a steal out by the three-point line, and then he takes it to the rim, and he kisses it off the glass with his left hand going to the left side. I'm like, all right, Dre, coming up large there, defensive. I'm fist pumping a little bit. I had a couple of those moments. It's a bit of a bore, and it's a bit of a snooze, but I thought a specific couple of moments in this one gave me some fist pumps. And I'm talking more big picture. This team just, I don't know. I feel with the fan base, I see the reaction on social media. It's kind of blah. It's, this team, what are we doing here? I don't feel it entertaining each night. And I totally understand that there's something lacking all around. And I think it's because we know that this team doesn't have enough. So we've been in that mentality of trying to compete for a championship for a few years now. Since we're no longer, it's an adjustment period for us emotionally. So I think that's a big reason why. And I've kind of stressed that and touched on that a little bit of time now, but I truly think as the games go on, it only digs in more and more. Who cares? But then when you see Joel, you can't just throw that out the window that wasn't awesome. Even if it is a game where it's not necessarily your best and there's some ugly spots with this team and, you can't turn the ball over. A veteran player can't turn the ball over in 2 crucial moments right before half of when you're trying to post up Joel Embiid late in the basketball game. So there's plenty of things to be pissed off about and to be worried about as you study this team play each game. But also, when Joel Embiid is on another level and he looks possessed, you just got to put a big smile on your face and let it ride. No matter who's on the other side, none of it. Doesn't matter. Now, here's one thing I will say. There were people when the Sixers didn't have their players, didn't care. Who cares? They got to find a way to win that game anyway. Well, then you have to use that same logic to the Charlotte Hornets. Who cares if they're missing players? You can't use that as an excuse and then somehow look at it negatively by the 76ers. Oh, well, it doesn't matter because they played a team that was banged up. You didn't use that logic when the other teams were playing the 76ers and they came out with a victory. So you can't have it both ways. You got to stay true to a specific way that it makes you feel. And if you're going to hold the Sixers accountable with or without their players, you have to hold the Hornets accountable with or without their players. They did not win the basketball game. They could be satisfied with their effort, but at the end of the day, this was a Sixers win, and that matters. I want to get to the Anytime Hotline and hear the reaction from the people. Before we do, WinView. WinView is fantastic. We all know how addicting TikTok is. WinView is even more addicting than that, and it is a app which you can download in the description, winview.tv/broads. And don't worry about player props, over, under, and betting and researching and doing all that time so you can end up eventually losing. Put your sports knowledge to the test and just answer questions about the game before the game begins. They have live contests as well. They have weekend-long contests, NFL, NBA, NHL, but you just answer questions about the game that you love. You could play against your friends, your family, rivals, and if you answer your questions right, you cash out. It's just that simple. I am currently making so much damn money. I'm buying shoes, Jordan 1s. I just got a pair of Jordan 3s in the mail today, the patchwork 3s. I'm obsessed with them. Why do you think I have the ability right now to do that? It's because I'm going to WinView, I'm downloading their app, and I'm answering all the questions about all the games each night, and it's a no-brainer that you should as well. I'm telling you, they have a promotion right now where they're doubling your deposit bonus up to $100 for first-time users. You spend $50, you'll get $100. You spend $100, you'll get $200. This is the perfect bonus to take advantage of during the NBA, MLB, NHL, and NFL season. Check out their information down below. All right, let's get to some calls. Here we go.
Hey, what's up, bros? I wouldn't have been able to take a loss to the Hornets, man. I'm glad we pulled that thing out. And I think Embiid listening to your show, too, man, because at the end of the day, like, he ain't shooting too many jump shots like threes, and he's still demanding the ball and wanting the ball in his hand a lot. But he's going down low a little bit, being a little vicious down low. So at the end of the day, man, like he been doing all right. And look at his rebounds, you know. So I think you listening to your show, man. So keep it up, bro.
Thank you. Thank you so much for the call, man. I really do appreciate it. Yeah, with Joel, you know, I thought that he kind of got back to the basics a little bit, which is good, right? That's what he needs to do when things aren't falling, when it's not a beautiful style play and your shots aren't really looking as good. His mid-range jumper last year was so damn solid for it to drop off the level that it did. There's something where just give him time, let him get back into rhythm, let him feel himself again. Once he does, I promise he'll get right back into the rhythm of Joel Embiid, where he will help carry your team and be the dog and the force that you need him to be. And you saw that in this game. Now, the last time he put up a monster effort that went into some extra time, he didn't respond particularly well, and there were a couple games where, you know, his shooting percentage went back to that ugliness. So let's keep an eye out on how much that physical presence plays on his body. And he even said it during the broadcast afterwards, where he's not 100%. He doesn't feel fully healthy. He could tell his body's fatigued from it. He could tell that, you know, his body needs some extra work, and it takes a toll on him when he's out there. So something to study, but something to also utilize with information and data when you do see it, or if you do see it. You know, there's a correlation between what he went through and the physical toll that took on his body. He made it very clear. It was tough. It was not easy. Some people don't have any symptoms. Some people go through a living hell. He went through that living hell. But all around, Joel Embiid just got back to the basics, saw the basketball go through the hoop, and then from there, it was just jazz. It was just poetry. Get into where he wanted to operate on the floor and just went to work. And I love the mid-range game. I do. I know it pisses people off and they're not a big fan, but give me jab steps. Give me soft touch jumpers. You know what I mean? When it's that 13, 14-foot J, it's the free throw line extended and it hits nothing but net. It really is something that I really can't even explain. It's beautiful for a 7'2" individual to be able to accomplish jump shots like that on a consistent rate. And not only that, let's not forget about that inside pass to Tobias Harris while we're at it, because you know I started the show off by just giving that love. Come on, here he is. He just blooped it in like he's fucking Gardner Minshew. Bang, what do you know? Right here, oh, delivery. It's the UPS, it's FedEx, hell, it's Amazon. Delivery, you get your little notification on Alexa. That's what it is. The big man, Joel. Awesome. You think he listens to the show? I don't know. Maybe he does. Maybe he doesn't. Maybe he does. You don't think on his off day he gets the Theragun, right? That therapy gun. He starts shooting his legs a couple times, and his legs are shaking. And on his iPad, he goes to YouTube and types in Broats. Goes, this guy's great. This guy's got great analysis. I think it's fair to believe that that's possible. What's next?
Awesome win tonight by the Sixers. Awesome closeout. Awesome overtime win. Just a very entertaining game in general. Bunch of huge dunks. Bunch of huge plays. Monster performance by Joel Embiid. And here I was thinking that all the Ben drones would always show up in the comment section and say that, oh, he can't close out games. He's nothing without Ben. He's completely useless without Ben giving him the ball all the time. And performances like this are going to keep shutting those people up. Overall, nice one by the Sixers, and let's keep this going.
I'm surprised you said it was a highly entertaining game. You are right. There were some dunks on both sides, right? Both sides definitely provided that. So there was some getting in the face and having some emotions and the building rising a couple times. But ultimately, I don't know if I personally put it in the category of a game, even though I did say I had a couple fist pumps. That is fair to say that did come out of my mouth, and that did physically occur too when I was on the couch. But I don't think big picture I'll label this as one of those ones that I won't forget this one. This one was an all-timer. This one was a beauty. No, not really. It was just cool to see Joel Embiid do his thing. Now, with Ben and with Joel and closing and whatnot, yeah, I mean, Ben Simmons haters are moronic. They're foolish. They're silly. And there's not a lot of them left out there. I guess there are some that peek their head in when the Sixers do lose and say, see, you do need him. But they're just so short-sighted and short-minded on regular season games. And we're talking about big picture here with when games really matter. He doesn't have the skill set that benefits a squad enough, at least not this squad. Maybe it's a squad that has Seth Curry, Klay Thompson, and arguably the best shooters in the world, and he sits there and plays a 5 position. But guess what? It ain't happening. He could see his ass go to Sacramento and go play with some bums in a really bad organization. Hell, you think this organization's ran bad? Go look at Sacramento and have fun. Go kick rocks. That's the only place I truly believe that he could go to where he'll fall into no man's land. Anywhere else with Twitter and social media, people will follow him like no other. After a couple of years or months of playing in Sacramento, you really do become a lost cause. So just something to think about when you process wherever he might possibly end up landing, because there were some rumors about that today as well, which what's happening with the Kings and drafting all these guards and De'Aaron Fox. And you know, it's fascinating, and that's why Daryl Morey's holding on to his cards, because now that teams are starting to figure out who they are, and some of these teams are saying, we're not good enough, they're willing to look in a different direction to spark their team and to get a difference-making player, whether it's just in the regular season or not, and they end up going for a Ben Simmons. So Daryl Morey's playing his cards right. One of my buddies in my group chat, who normally takes a lot of W's, he's taking a big fat L with this take, and he's saying 4 years, Daryl Morey's afraid to take an L. He's not afraid to take an L. You're just dumb if you're willing to automatically go into an L. Sometimes there's trades where it's like, hey, this is a little bit of a risk, but if the reward hits, we'll take it, and then you end up maybe taking an L, and it's like, all right, damn it. But just blindly trading in for nothing, well, then you're just automatically going in for the L, if that's the case. It's not blinding. It's probably a bad word to utilize the situation, but to describe the situation. I'm sorry, I'm all over the map right now. I can't even get sentences out. If you were trading him to just anybody for anything without even caring about the compensation, because not playing is better than because playing is better than not playing. I'm disappointed in myself that I'm going off the rack that far. I never do that. That never happens to me, but we'll just let it ride from here. I think you understand my point. This is why you don't just trade him for nothing. Because you end up waiting for teams that end up seeing what they are, and they go, the fit's not right. The fit's not popping the way we thought it was going to. We have to do something different. And we are on our last leg. Some GMs know they're going to be fired, so they have to go for a swing and a miss. There's so many different circumstances throughout the NBA as a whole where I can appreciate what Daryl Morey's doing. All right, let's get back on track with actual sentence structure and thoughts being cohesive and working together as one. And let's go to the next call.
Sixers, let's go. Another win in the books. I'll take it. That was an example of winning in a different style. That time we didn't play defense this time. Last game was all about defense. This time it was all about offense. Either way, Embiid carried us, did what he does, superstar thing, won the game for us. So I'm happy to see that he's getting in the flow again. He's getting back in his rhythm, dominated in the paint to start, and then got in his bag with his mid-range. I'm loving that. I would like to see our team whole again, though. Somebody's always out, man. Hopefully Max can come back next game. I'm guessing Toby's going to be out because he hurt his shoulder this game. We'll see what happens. I definitely want to see our whole team together and get some runs in.
Yeah, I do think that that's extremely disappointing about this season. They never really fully had that time to kind of play with one another, run up and down the floor to get accustomed to everybody. There's always something happening, something missing, screwing something up. Even if just a bench piece or a role player or this and that, it really does impact your rotations and what you want to do. And I do wonder sometimes what Doc Rivers is doing in that department. You know, sometimes I understand that he's limited with options, and then other times it's really, I mean, can you stagger some players to make sure that this doesn't happen? Do we need to be running Furkan Korkmaz as a secondary ball handler? The guy should not play. All right, it's just that simple. I've been going through this with everybody for so damn long. And then eventually he's going to have one nice moment, and then those dopes will come back right into the chat. I tried explaining for years and years and years that Furkan Korkmaz is not somebody that deserves a bunch of playing time, and he's not very good. But everybody got sucked into him and thought, well, he's not really getting paid, and he grew into this, and he's a homegrown talent. He's not very good, though. He's not very good. Why is he running the offense? Without Tyrese Maxey, what do you do? Are there ways around it? Now, Seth Curry had an awful night. If it was one of those nights where he was on his game, maybe I could expect to run a two-man game and kind of set that up or something along those lines. And then when Shake Milton goes out, you know, you can kind of utilize it that way where Shake Milton can come in and then Seth Curry could go out to get his rest. So there's somebody, but it's not Furkan. Maybe just let the big man eat. I mean, that's what he can do at 7'2" at every area of the floor. I just love it. When things are tough, let's go down low. When you go down low, you're getting fouled. When you're getting fouled, you're just having some flow with seeing the ball go through the hoop. Then your game expands from down low all the way throughout the perimeter, and you're just feeling yourself. There's nothing sweeter to me. That one possession where he went from defense to offense, and he was just dribbling the ball up the floor the whole way, and then just in transition, he went up into rhythm with his J. Is there anything cleaner than watching Joel Embiid do that? I mean, can we be serious with ourselves here? That seems to be the common theme of the show. Are you serious? Can you be serious? Well, when you see special plays like that, that's what first comes to my mind. It's hard for me to comprehend. It's hard for me to understand. See if I missed anything. Nope, Korkmaz ball handling, that's got a bunch of stars next to it. The 44 points in the second quarter. Curry stinking. Shake, very efficient. Tobias, back-to-back threes, and then got fouled as well. Joel's night in 41 minutes. Doc not using the timeout. Drummond the steal and the kiss off the glass. Thybulle's fouls. Yeah, we basically got on everything here, huh? Did I mention the pass to Tobias Harris with the high-low game? Just want to make sure I got that through. What else I want to tell you about is D. Simone Jewelers. They are my jewelers. I got my engagement ring from them. Gave it to my fiance, of course, when we first moved into our house. It was a very special moment. But I continue to go back. Holidays, Valentine's Day, Christmas, or birthday, you name it. They're a family-owned business located in Haddonfield, New Jersey, previously in Jewelers Row. Will, Lou, Nick, Mike, they're just a great family. A-plus people that really care about you. It's not about making money. It's not about a quick buck. They're passionate about jewelry. They love to educate you. They teach you about the difference in clarity and what the diamonds provide. It's so beautiful. They work with you to get the best design at the most reasonable price you will find in the market. Custom jewelry design, jewelry repairs, appraisals, watch repairs, and so much more. Their website, dsimonejewelers.com. It's in the description. Tell them that Broads sent you. Should we take one more call? Let's just take one more call.
Broads, I can't even be happy. You know, I know you find all the little things, and that's what this season's about. And, you know, we played well, but it just wasn't satisfying as a fan to watch this team. They're just not playing the level
they know, and to call them a bad team isn't fair because this team it has so much talent, and we'll find our strides, but they just got to click on offense, and they got to be better defensively.
I think what you were saying, though, about how you felt about the game, I think that's more of the normal reaction. I think that's more of what you're actually hearing out there, more so than the previous caller that said that it was a little bit of an exciting game for him. But, yeah, and I think a product of that also relates to a previous caller as well. This team is never playing together. This team is not active. You know, it's always one guy missing, one guy out. This guy can't be here. So over time, you're just not getting that chemistry that we're looking for, and that's why we see the results that we're seeing in some of these efforts. So that's kind of where we are after this game. They play the Hornets in Charlotte again on Wednesday, and that'll be fascinating to see if they change anything, the Sixers and the Hornets, how they play one another, how they maybe handle Joel Embiid different, how he responds to that. So I'm excited to see that outcome. And with that being said, I want to thank everybody so much for hanging out with me today, and I will see you next time.